morning and welcome to Meet the Authors. My name is Tumi and I'll be talking to three amazing authors about three different books that they've written and three different books that they've read this week. So I'll let you meet the authors.
Hello, my name is Chibuzo Okoro. I wrote the book Life is a Dance, and today I'll be reviewing Chibundu's book, The Spider King's Daughter. I'm looking forward to an interesting conversation.
Next.
I'm Chibundu Onuzo and I wrote The Spider King's Daughter, which is kind of a coming-of-age story for two teenagers in Lagos. And I'm going to be reviewing Tolulokpe Oyewole's The Story of a Butterfly, and I'm looking forward to that.
And last but not least.
Hi, my name is Tolu, and I'm the author of The Story of a Butterfly, and I will be reviewing Chibuzo Okoro's book, Life is a Dance, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
So Chibundu, ladies first, we'll start with you. What did you think of The Story of a Butterfly?
Well, I really enjoyed it. I thought the title, you're expecting kind of the story of a journey, somebody transforming, I suppose the metamorphosis from a caterpillar to a butterfly. But I think there are a lot of nuggets, a lot of deep insights. And what I liked about this book particularly was you don't have to read it in chronological order. You can just dip into a chapter and, dip out. It was almost like a daily devotional, but a bit more in-depth than that. And I actually wrote some things I definitely wanted to mention. I loved, because there's so many of these books around, how do you want to be, who you want to be, etc., etc. And it's like, you go from zero to hero. And there was a chapter on patience. And patience is a dirty word in these days, because it's like, we want it now. We want it, when do you want it now? But actually, it's the fact that life is a journey, and that thing of, patience, I thought that was a very profound and very, it just doesn't get a lot of mention. People always, and it's easy to get frustrated if you feel like it's not happening as quickly as it should, but when you realize that it's a journey and that every day is a growth,
I think Chibundu is a very, very I like the aura about her. She's a very chilled out kind of a girl that has this form of silent regality about her, and I think she's a very, very interesting character as a person.
And there's something else I underlined when he said, when we realize that people like us for our gifts, we tend to neglect the development of our character. And I thought that was very, very insightful, because it's true in this kind of world, people only focus on what I do and how great I can be, but then what about your character? What about kindness? What about honesty? What about integrity? It's a fantastic book, so I do highly recommend.
That's brilliant. Tuli, how do you feel hearing that? Like, what did you want people to take from it?
To be honest, I'm actually humbled to hear that. I don't think I could have actually presented it as much as better than she has, to be honest. The reason I wrote the book is to capture that seasonality of life, that we sometimes have a vision of who we would like to be, and we are hasty, to achieve that vision or to achieve that aspiration, but we don't understand that. Sometimes it eludes us that we need to go through seasons for us to actually become that person that we dream to be, and that's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's true with the two examples of Joseph and David.
Yes.
That you used.
Yes.
And you actually do take a moment to think about patience. Joseph took a lot of patience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
For Joseph to see his dreams manifest.
Yes.
And even David, crowned king, running in the forest in the wild.
And I would add, actually, because the subtext of this says becoming the person you dream of being. But when you actually read the book, it's more than becoming the person you dream of being. It's becoming who God wants you to be.
Absolutely.
And I think, I think that really came across in the book.
Brilliant. Tolu, do you want to start us off with the book that you read? How did you find Life is a Dance?
Tolu, great guy. Tolu, he just comes across as a very simple, nice guy. He's written a beautiful book that tells a great story, about the whole entire journey of the butterfly. But he was also able to tell us why he wrote that book. There's a bit of Tolu that I like in that, he feels like that kind of calm guy, who you could talk to about anything. He just seems so relaxed, so chilled out.
Life is a Dance is a very, very interesting book. When I was when this book was introduced to me, I didn't know what to make of the book itself because of the title was very, very interesting. I said I must read this book. The first character that stood out to me was Alfred. I really like his character. He's a very strong, very principled person, and what made me admire him even more was the way he stood against the Amadioha priest, and fought for the life of his children, because they were living in a very, very dark time where the idea of twins was seen as a taboo, and how he stood against this and fought for the life of his children. And imagine if he didn't, perhaps we wouldn't have had a Chibuzo. And imagine how many Chibuzos have been killed, as a result of this dark practice. So I'm really his character, and I can see that Alfred himself, even though he's not the main subject of the book, but he's a personality that underpins the subject himself. Because without Alfred, there wouldn't have been Kiri, and I'm really glad that that he was in his life.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here.
What can I say?
So how does it feel hearing about the book? Maybe you can shed a bit more light about what Tolu was saying about the dark times in the Taboo of Twins.
Yeah. I mean, Tolu, thank you so much for that review. I thought that was really good. The book was written really to kind of explain some of those times when things were kind of done in a slightly wrong way. You hear some of these things and you wonder, how could that have happened? But basically the book is based on my dad's life. My dad was a twin. He was born in a time when, like Tolu said, twins were literally killed because they were believed to be bad children, by the priest, of the times. And as Tolu said, my dad was saved by his father because he had joined the church and worked in the church. And he stood against the priest and said, there's no way you're going to kill my son. And I thought that story which my dad told me rang really, really true and deep in terms of, you need to stand for what you believe in. And I thought that was a story I wanted to tell. I didn't want to keep it to myself, I didn't want to be selfish with that story. So Life is a Dance was really to tell the story of my dad and how he lived through that time, obviously through the Biafra War as well. So some of the book as well is about what happened during that time and what he experienced, throughout that time.
Excellent, thank you.
What stood out to me the most about Chibuzo Okoro's book, Life is a Dance, is the poetic way in which he told the story. And I was very, very inspired by that, and that actually challenged my writing skills. I learned a few words from the book itself. So would I say that it's better than my book? I would like to say that it is incomparable in the sense that he's focusing on fiction and mine is more of non-fiction. But I feel like there's a lot of things that I can learn from him as an author.
And last but not least, tell us about The Spider King's Daughter.
Well, Spider King's Daughter, where do I start? It was a fantastic, fascinating book. I was really, really, really moved by the book. As I read it, I couldn't sit still. I was standing up, sitting down, trying to, find a comfortable position because what I was reading was really moving, But credit to Chibundu. I think she did a fantastic job in writing this book.
I think it was great to meet Tolu and Chibuzo in particular because I read Tolu's book and I was surprised first of all by how young he is. So I think if you read the book, there's a lot of maturity in the book. There's like pages and pages of scripture of really profound points that he makes, and I was surprised to see he was so young, and also I guess so humble and so kind of personal, almost shy in fact. And kind of felt him, a lot of the great names in the Bible, they were shy. Moses, Gideon. And it's amazing to see, in the next couple of years, what God will do with him as he goes from journey to journey. And it was really great to meet Chibuzo as well because both of us came earliest. And of course, and one, as in the Nigerian style, he goes into the do you know, and by the time we finished that do you know, he's friends with one of my family friends, and in fact maybe we're even cousins by the end of this because we're from the same state in Nigeria. So it was nice. I really enjoyed meeting both of them.
Just to give a brief summary about the book, it's about a young girl, Abigail Johnson, who happened to, should I say, quote unquote, fall in love with a hawker, who used to sell things on the streets of Lagos in Nigeria. And Lagos, Nigeria being a very, very busy city, very hot place to live in as well. This hawker was selling ice cream on a nice hot day, and Abigail wanted to buy ice cream. And this hawker happened to catch her eye. She was interested in him. And the thing about it is that the book covers contrasts, lots of contrasts in Nigeria. Abigail was very rich, and this hawker was a poor man at that time. But there was a lot of story behind both of them and both their lives. And the book sort of took us through that journey as they discovered each other. And they found out that actually there was a lot that linked them or connected them together. And the book was very good at describing that, but also it was very good at describing the Nigerian society. And I loved the book. I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to anybody reading.
Excellent. Do you want to feel hearing that?
When you see that reaction of that they were entertained, because that's what he set out to do. He set out to entertain the reader. And just to see that he couldn't put it down and he really wanted to reach the end, I think that's definitely mission accomplished. So I'm very glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you. And I must say, actually, just that as we've been talking, there's been a theme of journeys being developed. Kind of obviously the story of a butterfly, that's the journey, and of course Life's a Dance, that's the journey. And then in the Spider Kings also, when he said the story of a journey, I was like,
It is, absolutely. I mean, I think generally Life is a Dance sort of suggests, a complete journey from beginning to end of a life, if you like.
Absolutely.
Trying to show how, life could play a different tune to you, and it's up to you how you do it. And I can imagine the story of a butterfly. I haven't read the book, but it is interesting how a butterfly goes from being a caterpillar all the way to becoming a butterfly. So that must have been an interesting story to tell as well.
Why did you choose that insect? Why not? Cockroaches go through it.
You see, there's this popular would I call it adage or some form of like a parable where they talk about the process of a butterfly. How there's a particular butterfly that it was struggling to come out of its chrysalis, and then a gentleman saw it and had pity on the butterfly and decided to deliver it from that, and he did not know that it was delivering it from maturity. And when he did, the butterfly was on the floor swollen, and he thought that that it was going to reduce and it was going to develop its wings, but it didn't. It died like that, And in my book, I call those people unsolicited counselors, because they've come. There are people that God has not sent to deliver you, but they feel like they need to put some form of input in your life. But sometimes we need to be in that place of darkness where we actually break through, and in the breaking through, that is when we develop the character to become the person that God wants us to be.
To be honest, when I got the story of the butterfly, I thought, gosh, couldn't they have given me a novel? Because I don't really read, Christian non-fiction, and just in general, I don't read things without a story. And even though it does say the story of the butterfly, each chapter is kind of one on faith, one on humility. So it's not like, one day the caterpillar did this, etc., etc. And because I'm a novel writer, I'm just kind of more used to that style. But I'm very glad I got this book. I think there were so many things that were profound. I think especially there's what he said about how it's not enough to develop your talent, you must also develop your character. And I thought that's very profound, because people will praise you. If you're good at what you do, people will praise you and say, oh, you're so wonderful. And yes, you might just be the worst person. So what if you have the best voice? If your character, God is going to judge you as well. It's going to evaluate you also on your character. And I think you must be excellent in developing our gifts, but also excellent in developing our character. So spot on, I loved it.
If I may add, in terms of journey, looking at the book, I like the way the book was presented in such a poetic way. I'm talking about the book Life is a Dance. And set out in I think about 5 different sections. You know, you looked at how Kiri grew up from almost committing homicide to being that responsible gentleman who got a scholarship into the college, into secondary school,
yes,
and university. You know, and looking at the different challenges that this young man faced, you know, I think it's very, very inspiring. Yes.
No, thank you. Yeah, it was fun to write, you know, and you know, reading Spider King's Doctor as well. Oh my God, it was amazing how, as you read through the book, you found out more and more about the different characters. You know, it wasn't sort of poured out at the beginning to you. This is this person, you know, this is who they are. You know, you sort of gradually discovered things as you went through the book. You know, and I thought that was really interesting. I think, you know, for me, because I grew up in Lagos as well, I found it really interesting. It was like, you know, there was a description of transportation in Nigeria, which is quite interesting. You know, about, you know, these mini buses that are used to get from one place to another, and they're called danfos. You know, and how you described the journeys. You know, it was like I felt like I was in one of them.
But you
know,
look
at that
so
point
posh.
in
I
time.
can't believe you used to take these minibuses, these downfalls.
Yeah, I had my days, you know, when I was coming up like a butterfly.
Nice.
There were some other things in the book that I just thought to myself. Literally, there was a bit I read and I said to myself, Chibundu, you know. It was like, there was a bit where she was talking about this, while the hawker was on the road, a Mercedes-Benz pulled up, and then somebody said, "Sss," and she literally wrote in the book, SSS. I was like, Chibundu, you know. I just thought, and that is so cool, because to me, it sort of brought Nigerian society to life, you know, and that's what we're trying to do. You know, it's telling a story to the world. You know, I don't think Nigeria is known about, you know, our structures, our society, and I think she did a brilliant job with that.
So, to me, what do you think about the books themselves?
Do you know what? So when I was reading your book, I've actually underlined some stuff, and what Chibundu was saying, like, you can pick up any chapter, but this isn't a book that you can just skip the pages. It's literally underlined, literally highlighted, then ponder, then pray, then research and go back. So I think I'll be left with this book for a long time, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I thought it was very, very wise, and there are things that you just like, I really like, and I love, like, so this one, he's always with us regardless. Can you trust that? I literally felt you were talking to me. I was like, can I trust that? So I loved it for that. I really loved it. So, you know, I don't think I'll finish reading it within the month, but it'll be something that is always going to be like my bag when you have that moment, just think about it, you know? I read Chibundu's book, literally, like I asked you, like, is there part 2? I remember I got up to here and I was like, oh no, it's not finishing, it's just, I don't know, that there's going to be more pages. And I was like, what? These are blank! So, yes, I love this book. I really love this book. And the same with Life is a Dance. Like, the first few pages, literally like, what? Because I heard about this, like, twins were like a taboo. And it was interesting, like, even the other day I was discussing, oh, I want twins. Like, I'd love to have twins first. I was like, imagine. And I think in the book it said, like, the spirit has come, and one of them is not your child. So I'm like, how do they know which one's your child? And I was like, what? This is ridiculous. And I was even thinking of Priscilla, and like, within 2 days she was up. She was walking. The bear couldn't do much. I was like, what a woman. So insightful. Like, I love these books. Like, it's actually been a pleasure being on this journey, because I get to read these books. And like my sister, she likes reading books. Now we can give her some books
to read.
Exactly, because they're fantastic books, really and truly.
To be honest, Chibuzo, I would like to throw a challenge to you, you know, because
Oh my goodness, that felt like a punch coming this way.
yeah. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I started reading the Life is a Dance, I immediately pictured a movie. I could actually, in fact, there's a particular character.
I want to be in it.
The new bursar that Kiri went to meet, that eventually approved.
Oh, the bursar at the university.
Yes, that approved his scholarship. I
yes.
immediately pictured a particular character that would fit into that.
You know what?
That role.
You know what?
And I want you to turn it into a movie.
You're not the first person. You're not the first person. You're not the second person.
I can
Who
be
has
the
said that?
grandmother who gives birth to twins, you know, like the young wife. I can be the love
Justina.
interest.
You
I
know,
can be,
I
you know,
can-
anything, you know, I just want to be.
I can think of many roles that I can nicely, you know. But yeah, it's definitely something on the cards. You know, quite a few people have said, you know, it will be a nice movie to make. You know, and I'm sure I'll have so much fun making it. But I said this to you before we started. I think The Spider King's Daughter will indeed be a very, very good screenplay.
That would be very nice.
Mm.
But yeah, hopefully somebody will come across with the idea. I don't write screenplays, not yet anyway. But yeah. But if yours happens first, I can be the girl with the calabash on her head, singing to the ancestors.
Can I be Wale?
What, Wale?
I know.
You want to be Wale?
Because I've never shot a gun before,
Ah.
you know. It's like Wale is the guy who steps in at the end and does the deed, you know.
That's like what
cool.
questions will.
That's
I'm worried now.
I know. Off the back of this project, you know, I've sort of met a lot of fantastic people who are sort of interested in that kind of story. And most importantly, people have said, you know, Chibuzo, you need to do a movie. In fact, somebody has said to me, I will sponsor, I will help fund that project. You know, I've had a few writers say to me, look, I'll gladly write a script for you. So one of those is doing a movie of the book.
So in the immediate future, there's lots of bright things, you know, thank God. So hopefully my next novel, The Welcome to Lagos is coming out in 2016. But also I've started doing a lot more writing for The Guardian this year, and I've also started doing a lot more news commentary. So look out for me on Sky News or the BBC kind of ranting about something or the other, especially in relation to Nigeria. So I kind of started doing a little bit more of that.
The Story of a Butterfly is more of a platform, you know, to actually go further with the ministry that I feel that the Lord has called me into, you know, because I feel like what God has called me to do is to inspire people to pursue their aspirations, but not being discouraged by these different seasonalities that they go through.
My book is on Amazon, Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk. You can get it in hardback version. The softcover version is about to come out as well. If you're into Kindle books as well, there's a Kindle version on Amazon. So go to Amazon and get it.
Amazon is the quickest way to get it. Amazon.co.uk. You know, The Spider King's Daughter by Chibuzo Onizo. And if you go to your nearest bookshop as well, even if they don't have a copy, they can order in a copy for you as well. So it's up to you how you want to get access to it, as long as you get it. That's all.
So the book is available on Amazon. You can just search for my name, Tolulope Oyewole, or you can search for the book itself, The Story of a Butterfly, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it.
Even though
we
face the difficulties of today and tomorrow,
butterfly.
I still have a dream.
No one is born as a butterfly. You wanna get to that form, then you've gotta try. Doing reps every morning for proper size, giving you the strength for the calling that's on your life. Cause it takes a while for you to make it, but be patient, keep your thoughts on the ball. Cause you might find you a bit frustrated with the trials and tribulations, but they're making you mature in the Lord. You gotta take it, cause it's all for the cause. So stop complaining, and furthermore be assured that in time you take the shape of a delightful work of nature, and then everyone will all be in awe of the butterfly. You're insane to think it's effortless, cause there will be pain of different measurements, but you will be chained under the stress of it. So you gotta train to be the best there is. You have to overcome defeat in competitors, or you'll become the meat for your predators. But don't give up, strive against the grain, because in time you take the shape and the form of a butterfly.